Sono lieto di poter rievocare in poche parole le esperienze delle prime trasmissioni radiotelegrafiche a grandi distanze da me felicemente eseguite attraverso l'Oceano Atlantico il 12 dicembre 1901.
Holy snapping bra straps.
It's a podcast. Republic of Avalon Radio. It's 0 hours Avalon Standard Time. Republic of Avalon Radio.
The best radio in the whole wide world.
You're with the ROAR!
Yes, you are indeed with the ROAR. And a great big welcome to you. Glad to have you aboard for this episode of Republic of Avalon Radio. I am your humble host, Jim Fidler, and I am coming to you from a very, very warm Republic of Avalon. Summer has struck. Woohoo! As you can hear in the background, it's a breezy day, but very, very beautiful. It's about close on to about 30 degrees Celsius, which I guess for our American listeners that translates into somewhere in the high 80s, something like that. But as you can hear by that beautiful breeze, it's very, very nice. And the birds are chirping, and people are out and about and doing all their things that they do in the summertime. We have a very, very good episode for you this week. We were visited. Yes, we had a visitation from Kylie, actually, from the Celtic Music News podcast. We'll be playing you a little interview that I did with her, a little chat that we had in the Root Cellar. And you can find the Celtic Music News podcast, oddly enough, at CelticMusicNews.com. And they play all kinds of music, mostly Celtic, and by extension, as you will come to know, some various other folk-influenced musics. And Kylie really, really kind of took a piece of our hearts, I think, back to Toronto with her. It was really great meeting up with her, and we hope to be seeing her sometime again soon, in the not-so-distant future. We're trying to twist her arm to come here for Atlanticfest. We think the Celtic Music News podcast should cover Atlanticfest. And for that matter, anybody else who wants to come, Atlanticfest is the 10th to the 13th of August. And anybody who might be interested to come just to hang out, we don't have all the musicians quite slotted in yet, so if you're a performer and you'd like to come and maybe share some of your music and have a nice time, or if perhaps you are a podcaster and you would like to have a great excuse to come to the Republic of Avalon and cover a festival, we'll do absolutely everything we can to accommodate you and help you with any arrangements that you might need to make in terms of transportation and accommodation and all that kind of stuff. So just get in touch with us via email at republicofavalonradio@gmail.com. And just generally, I suppose, go to our website, republicofavalonradio.com, and drop into the forum and say hello. And there's all kinds of other things floating around over there as well. Various ways for people to interact and say hello to each other and to us, which is always nice. So, aside from that, we're going to take you for a little stroll this week as well, down by the Waterford River. Actually, we live in the Waterford River Valley, not far from the Waterford River, so we'll take you for a little stroll down there, take you along with us, past some people playing football in the pitch, in the field there, just not far from our house, and down by the river. And we'll also be featuring the music in the background that you'll be hearing during the interview is from DJ Carey from Magnatune.com, MAGNATUNE.com. And lots of great music over there for you to check out as a podcaster or just as a music lover. They have a very good caliber of music. They don't just take any old music. It seems that they have a certain eye for quality. And of course that's subjective, but I think when anybody endeavors to observe some sort of quality control, it's seldom a bad thing. Sometimes it can be, but I think in this case these guys are doing something very, very good. So check them out at Magnatune.com. We'll also be featuring a little bit of music from myself, which you can all race over to jimfidler.com and purchase, of course. And tell all your friends and all that stuff. But generally, we just have a pretty good show lined up for you. We also have our second edition of Podictionary and some more poetry from Mary Dalton. So, kick back, get yourself a cool beverage, and let's kick things off with a little bit of music. Seeing as it is summertime here in the Republic of Avalon, here is a song from my Midnight Rover CD, written by our good friend Ger Wolfe in the County Cork in Ireland. And you can check out his website at gerwolfe.com, GERWOLFE. This is the Curra Road. You're listening to Republic of Avalon Radio.
Summer we'll go walking way down to the river, down the Curra Road. Past the blue sky we'll walk under, listen to the humming bees, and on we'll go. We won't worry about the traffic, worry about the radio, worry about the phone. In the summer we'll go walking summer we'll go laughing way down to the river, down the dusty road. There is music in the river, listen to it dancing underneath the bridge. And the wind is barely breathing words unto the willow branches overhead. We won't worry about the government, worry about the video, worry about the hay. In the summer we'll go walking hand in hand together down the dusty way.
Are you a music lover? Then let Magnatune dazzle you with how different we are from the rest of the music industry. Interesting independent artists in diverse genres. Perfect quality WAV files in addition to MP3s and many other formats. Instant album downloads or traditional CDs by mail with free shipping. All this and half of every sale goes directly to the artist. So visit us now at magnatune.com. That's MAGNATUNE. Magnatune. We are not evil.
What does it mean? Those are
Republic of Avalon Radio.
The best radio in the whole wide world.
You're with the roar!
Republic of Avalon Radio, you're with the Roar. I'm Jim Fidler, and I have with me in the root cellar right now, I don't even know your last name. It's Kylie from the Celtic Music News podcast at CelticMusicNews.com.
You got it.
Okay. They made it easy like that, so I remembered, I think.
We had you in mind.
Thank you. Yes, so I don't know. You're just Kylie, I suppose. That'll do, hey?
Oh, that'll do.
Kylie Selassie.
It's Kylie Howsam, but
Okay.
that's good.
That's a great solution to the homeless problem.
You got it. Everybody come stay with me.
Howsam. Yeah, they're not homeless. They're just houseless. That's the thing. So Kylie's here visiting the Republic of Avalon, kind of on a whim. And our good friend Anne Tenaglia said, if you're going to Newfoundland, you really should talk to this Jim Fidler fella.
Am I ever glad she did?
Yeah, us too. And we met a couple of nights ago, and so she's here this evening, and we just had a little chat for the Celtic Music News podcast, and now she's returning the whatever you call that, the favor, or and allowing me to chat with her and ask her a couple of questions for you folks. I guess the first thing I would want to know about is where you grew up. Where did you spend your childhood?
That's interesting. People will always say, so where are you from? And I have 3 answers to that. I was born in Toronto, and then very early on, I guess from the age of 2 to about 9, I lived in Port Perry, which is the place I'd like to say I'm from because port, it just sounds like water.
Yep.
When I was 9, I got moved to Oshawa, Ontario.
Kind of sounds like wine to me. That could be part of my mentality. You never know.
So I guess what people might say are the formative years were spent in Oshawa, Ontario, which those who may be familiar with it, is the city that motivates Canada, because at the moment we still have the GM truck and car plant still operating.
I have a brother there, and he works at the GM plant.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more about that.
My brother Scott, yeah.
So then I went to Toronto, as many people do, for college, and I'm still there because I ended up finding a job there. So take your pick, Port Perry, Oshawa, or Toronto.
So you're an Ontario girl. That's probably a simple way to put it.
Yes, I think my heart kind of belongs more towards the watery side, though.
And Howsam, what sort of a name is Howsam? Where does that originate?
We've traced the family back to England.
Okay.
But beyond that, it's not. There's not much to it. It's just Howsam. They came at some point from England.
Okay. And what about on your mom's side? What's your mom's maiden name?
My mom's maiden name is Middleton. My grandmother's middle name was Starr. My great grandmother's maiden name. Oh, did we even get that far back? As far as I know, back it's Starr, which I find really interesting because if you genetically, people can be historically traced far back by the mother's side. There's a RNA, a piece in your genetic code.
The mitochondria.
Yeah. So the records don't really exist.
Whatever it is.
Mitochondria.
Yeah.
The records don't exist, but if you could trace back, we should have been following the female side, not necessarily the male. So.
Yes. Yeah. In this patriarchal society we live in and all that, we tend to harp on the father's side. But so pretty English on both sides of your family.
Yes, although from the looks of me, I'm sure there's some Scottish in me.
I wouldn't doubt that.
We just haven't. I've got red hair, fair skin, freckles, burn like a cooked lobster in seconds.
Yes, we were talking about that earlier, about this business about lobsters are not red until they're cooked. So she's, from now on, going to say when she gets a sunburn that she's burnt like a cooked lobster, red like a cooked lobster instead of just like a lobster. Okay, so it's interesting the bit of the way people think in general is kind of interesting because people get divided up into Irish and Scottish and West Country English and all these things.
You're right.
When really, I mean, you're for the most part.
I'm from Earth.
Yeah.
I'm from the Milky Way, planet Earth.
That's right. The little blue ball over right there.
Yeah, we're all related.
Yes, absolutely. There's a song, I think it might be Muda Baruka, he does, called, what the heck is it? The Monkey Speaks His Mind. Have you ever heard that?
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's like the monkey saying, you know, gee whiz, they say that people descended from us crowd, but what a terrible disgrace that would be. A monkey never left his woman, you know, with a newborn baby. A monkey never did this, a monkey never did that. The monkey speaks his mind. You know, the monkey's just kind of sitting there saying, no way. You know?
They're ashamed, you know, they used to be, we'd be ashamed of being descendant from them, but I think, that, you know, it's the reverse. They should be almost ashamed that us war-mongering people are descended from them. Well,
it's kind of like my great-grandparents when they got married. Rumor has it, the story goes, that my great-grandma was a Cherokee woman, and my great-grandfather, Marley Fidler, was a bit of a Scowwegian, I think, somehow. And instead of the white part of the family going, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're marrying this native North American person. I think there was a little bit more concern on the proud Cherokee side of the family, like, what are you doing marrying this white trash kind of thing. So, so yeah, that kind of role reversal was in play there. So, as an Ontario girl of English descent and perhaps some Scottish descent, as I wouldn't certainly doubt, what steered you toward Celtic music in general? Where did that come from? Because I can't imagine that it was exactly like blaring out the radio morning, noon, and night at home.
You have that right. It kind of saddens me that as much as I grill my ancestors, those living, as to have we not had anyone in the family that's played anything musical, like there's just nothing. So I grew up, my father was an 80s DJ, so the house was full of 80s music.
So he was out of work in the 70s?
Oh, no. He had a...
They hadn't invented 80s music yet?
He had a day job, but he was... Well,
okay.
Anyways, so yeah, there was absolutely no knowledge of Celtic music, to me, a violin was only classical, or fiddle was really for classical music, which no one really listened to. So it just somehow, at some point, I heard Ashley McIsaac on the radio, I guess, and never forgot that. A couple of years later, came by it again and was just enthralled by it because there was nothing else I'd ever heard like it.
So you probably actually not just heard Ashley McIsaac, you probably heard Mary Jane Lamond on the radio. That song that they...
I'm not sure if I did hear her, because if I'm not mistaken, it was probably during when Ashley McIsaac, his career was at its height, and The Edge, which is a very popular station in Toronto, they must have played him, but I can't see them having played her.
But that was the song. See, she was the one doing the vocal part on his song.
I thought you meant by her albums and her music as well, but no, like her on that song, then yes, it would have been her.
So you would have heard Mary Jane Lamond for the first time at the same time.
Yes.
And perhaps when we go out of here, we'll play a little song that Mary Jane did a little bit on one of my records. The one we were listening to some of my music earlier. I was playing a bit of the stuff for Kylie, and the one record that we didn't play any from because it wasn't in the folder on the computer was Friendly Fire, and there was a song on there that actually she had a bit on that. So maybe we'll go out with that when we're finished talking here.
So I was listening to Ashley. And at this point, there's no friends, no colleagues, no nothing. There's no other real source for me to get this. And by the time I'd gone back to listen to him, he wasn't on the radio as much. That one or two songs, they'd kind of fallen from play. And so there was, to me, I remember a period when I was... This is really before I had much access to the internet. I remember trying to find more like it, anything like it, and there was just nothing. So I was really sad. I figured, okay, well, I guess it was just him, and I was really upset. And so when I discovered the podcast, and then that opened up a whole new window of...
The Celtic Music News podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I discovered the Celtic Music News podcast.
Great.
And it opened me up to a number of artists, and I would just... it's kind of like one of those moments when you're on your knees and you're ready to cry and think, thank you. So that's what got me started.
So you didn't know anything about the Pogues or Black 47 or...
Nothing of any of them.
It's
the Mahones. Still all pretty recent.
We toured with the Mahones in 93, I think it was. Mm-hmm. They're a bunch of fine lads.
Well, I was actually listening to Ashley McIsaac and then the movie The Red Violin, which it got me determined, okay, I miss instruments, I miss playing, I love this music, I'm going to start playing. So then I went out looking for a teacher, and I didn't even really know what I was looking for. I just knew that I found a person, and he happened to teach Irish fiddle. And so from there, that kind of got the ball rolling, and I started finding more bands that, with the Celtic Music News podcast, put me onto the trail of everything else. And then I remembered, oh yes, there was this great big C band, and started listening to them, liked it. It was a bit different from Ashley, but I still liked them. And it just went from there.
Wow. So you're just on this never-ending quest.
Yeah. And so now, and actually, I guess that indirectly all brought me to Newfoundland, and I'm loving it.
Yes, and you're even pronouncing it correctly now. Understand Newfoundland, folks. Not Newfoundland. Not Newfoundland. It's interesting. I've thought before, like, is it Iceland or Iceland? Is it Greenland or Greenland? I think if you really want to know, you should ask the people that live there. That's my opinion, America. And I still can't find Canada on a map anywhere. I've met many Canadians, and I just I fail to find any such a place as Canada.
Or Canada.
Canada, yeah, Canadian. It's just, I don't know, one of them things. And I don't know why they call these people Indians. They're not from India. It makes no sense to me either.
Yeah.
That's a funny one. And why do they name all these automobiles after Native North American people? Do you think they'd get away with like the Nissan Negro or the Honda Honky or anything like that?
I think they'd be in trouble.
Like the Jeep Cherokee? The Jeep Cherokee? I mean, come on. The Pontiac Patty? I don't think it's going to happen. They just pick on us Native North American type people.
What would the ads be for that?
They'd probably get your man who did the voice of Darth Vader. He did the CNN. You're watching CNN. They'd probably get him the Pontiac Negro.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? The Chrysler Celt. I don't know. Strange people, them people.
Yeah.
I think it's people like that what causes unrest.
Who is it that's got these guys in charge, anyways?
I don't know. They somehow fool us into thinking that we've elected them, I think.
Yeah, don't get me started there.
Yes. Democracy, isn't it?
Slightly.
Uh-huh.
Slightly.
Highly sarcastic.
I don't want to get you or myself in trouble. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Kylie Selassie, that's what I call her. I don't think she quite knows what that means, do you?
No.
You'll have to go look it up.
How do you spell it?
Selassie? I'm not telling.
Okay.
I'm going to keep that one to myself. Keep that one close to the chest, as they say. I don't know why close to the chest, why not close to the belly button or...
Toe? The toe?
Close to the toe, yes.
Toenail?
I will keep that close to the toe.
Or nose hair?
Yeah, so now you were listening to the Ashley McIsaac and inadvertently the Mary Jane Lamond, and then you heard this Celtic Music News podcast, and next thing, what happens? You contact the host or the...
Well, actually, it more started with when I first discovered podcasts, which was about last summer, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, what's this? So I don't even remember what the first one I heard was Twit, which is a tech podcast.
Yes, Leo Laporte.
I love him.
Me too. Leo rocks. He's the king of podcasting, not this curry twit.
Have you been able to count how many he has now? I know it's at least one a day.
Oh, he's got several. You know, he's doing that one with...
Security Now.
With
Twit.
DiBartolo.
Twim.
Yeah, several. He's a good guy. Seriously, anybody who's half interested in, if you have a computer and you feel slightly intimidated by it and you just want to have it kind of demystified, he does a show on KFI in Los Angeles, and that's available as a podcast every week. He does 3 hours on Saturday and Sundays, and Leo Laporte, he the man.
Yeah. So I was listening to his show, and that was the first podcast I'd heard, and so then I'm like, what's else out there?
Did I just call Adam Curry a twit? I think I did, didn't I?
Believe you did.
Well, listen, I think if Leo Laporte can call himself a twit, I can certainly call Adam Curry a twit. I mean that in all due respect, Adam, I think you're just a rockin' twit.
Excellent.
Rock on with your twit self.
So from there, I went searching for other podcasts, and I happened to hear another one, and it's really bad. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a guy who was... His podcast is about interviewing other podcasters, and the show
that's the 411.
That's it, the 411 podcast.
411, yeah.
That's it. So the show I stumbled in on happened to be with Aaron Drake for the Celtic Music News podcast. So then I started like, Celtic music, oh my god, there's more!
Yeah.
So I started listening to that, and one of the shows he'd said, wow, I'm just so swamped, if anybody wants to lend a hand. So I wrote him like, I will. And so it's just taken off from there. So I'm the one that's contacting bands here and there saying, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do, and the whole point of our show is to try and get the smaller bands who may not have this massive record deal behind them with all this media support to throw their music out to the masses, is to hopefully get them on the air and share their music and put word out of their existence. And in the meantime, also playing some established bands as well, because, hey, they're good. They're all good.
Yeah, well, that's the way things are going now. The whole, the model from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, after the major labels, the main three had bought out. See, there was a great thing going on. If you listen, I've actually done this. I've listened to music. I've looked at, say, the Billboard Top 100 year after year after year, and you can see when it happened. You can see the music change. In the early 70s, I think, like, if you look at 1973, look at the top 100 in 1973, and look at all the great music that's going on of all different types, and then look at the top 100, Billboard Top 100 of 1983. Ooh, something really serious happened in that time period. And what it was, there was a kind of a homogenization. The few powerful, the few bigger labels. There used to be all kinds of moderate-sized labels floating around. And, of course, everybody wanted to create something different. you know, because if you just made stuff that sounded like the other record label, whatever, you know, so we had Glenn Campbell's, and we had Supertramps, and we had Judy Collins's, and we had all these kinds of things bleeding onto the top 40, you know. Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. A song like that wouldn't get on the radio these days. So, before your dad had a job, she told me her dad... yes, you told me that your dad played...
was an 80s DJ, so therefore that's the only period of time in his life he could have worked, because it was 80.
So January 1, 1980, to him is like year zero. Right now we're in the year 26 AD, after disco. Is that right?
I'll just make it easy and say yes. And he also did a full-time job, which just a point of pride here. He sold lenswear, the actual glasses that you'd grind the lens into the opticians. And when he passed away, the company he worked for, KW Optical, they hired 4 people to replace them, and those 4 new guys could not bring in the sales he did. So go Dad.
Wow. Well, just sort of winding back toward the Celtic Music News podcast, and so you took the cry for help, and you responded. So what have you been doing since you got in touch with Aaron originally? What happened? What evolved?
Well, it started off when I first messaged him. It was he had originally said, "Oh, I've got so many emails I need to reply to," so I mentioned something about that. And it turns out he didn't necessarily need that help for that, but typing up letters, because I'm not too shabby, I don't think, at my writing. So instead of a really short letter like, "Hi, we're Celtic Music News Podcast, and we'd like to play," I wrote a much longer, more official sounding, blah, 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 paper-pushing piece of letter, and I send those out. But since then, I've also been very lucky. We had Run Rig came over to America to play their first ever American concert. It was a benefit concert for the firefighters and the volunteers for the 9/11 rescue operations. So they came over to the States for their first ever American concert, and since I was closer to New York than he was, we raised a bit of money, and I got to go down and have a small interview with them. While we were down there, I also got to meet up with Larry Curra of Black 47, and had a small interview with him. Both were very pleasant, and also that's where I met Amanda, because she offered to house me very kindly in New York. And then a few weeks later, I also had the privilege to have a small interview with Greenwich Mean Time of Ontario. Very great group of people there. It's a bit of a silly interview we had. And now I'm out in St. John's, Newfoundland, red as a cooked lobster, sitting here with Jim Fidler in the Roots Cellar.
Yeah.
Roots, is that it?
Roots Cellar,
the
yeah.
Roots Cellar.
Exactly.
So that's the story.
Because when we first started recording here, we didn't even have any concrete on the basement floor. It was literally like a dirt floor. So here we were down there making reggae records on a dirt floor, and I just figured, you can't beat the Roots Cellar for recording, and the name kind of stuck.
One thing I just popped in my head, we call it the Celtic Music News Podcast, but it's not... It's not serious pigeonholed as any one type of Celtic music. We've got, we play all kinds of people, and Aaron actually really enjoys playing un-Celtic music in a way. Like, he'll play a slightly folk band from Hungary, and he particularly enjoys it when he can play music where nobody will understand the lyrics unless you're from the country.
A hungry man is an angry man? Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So we've played Great Big Sea, we've played the Town Pants, we played Enter the Haggis, which I adore. We played O'Carroll's Gate. We've got so many groups on there. Some that are well known, some that nobody knows of. And that's where the fun comes in, helping them to get their music out there. And so hopefully soon we'll have Jim Fidler on there for you all.
Woohoo! Yay! You guys will have to tune in and listen to the Celtic Music News podcast at CelticMusicNews.com.
Available over iTunes or any other on the actual webpage. Just find the little icon and click it.
Yeah, and I guess you're in like Podcast Alley and stuff like that as well.
Yes, we are.
All that jazz.
Yeah.
And I was telling Kylie about Drupal. I think that's going to be a good thing to help her kind of manage the content for their podcast and stuff. Free open source content management system. And we've been talking about all kinds of things, haven't we? We're about to throw some beef onto the barbecue, I think. A flank of beef onto the barbecue. And Lillian's got some lovely potato salad made. So we're getting ready to chow down on the yummies. And then we're going to head down to the pub. Okay. So, of course, Celtic Music News Podcast. I just mentioned the website. It is a good variety of stuff. I think there's a lot, just because of the location where you guys are in that kind of central North American, or, Eastern, whatever, you get a lot of that kind of North American Celtic rock type groups, more so than, obviously if you guys were like in the middle of Ireland, you'd be running into some other things if you were here in St. John's. But you guys do play a diverse bunch of stuff.
We certainly try.
Yeah. And I guess more and more as you get more listeners and you get things more easy to manage. Yeah, that
we also have a lot of, we'll have listeners say, hey, you guys are great. If you don't know this band, check them out and play them. So then we'll take a listen, and if we think they suit, then I'll give them a write out and be like, hey, do you want to join? And can we have you on our show? And it's great. So it's a lot of fans are recommending people that they know of. So music's coming from anywhere. We'll have bands contact us and it's like, hi, we've got our first record out. Would you please play us? And things like that. So the music's just coming from everywhere.
So anybody listening, for example, if you yourself or anyone you know
would like to get some exposure.
Yeah.
And you have your music is anywhere along the lines of either Celtic or folk, or somehow might fit that in there. Be glad to check you out and hopefully have you on the show.
So what would be the email address maybe they could email you?
That would be press@celticmusicnews.com. That would be me, Kylie Howsam. Or Aaron, you can get a hold of him at podcast@celticmusicnews.com. Either or, we'll be happy to get in touch with you and converse and figure something out.
Cool up. Well, big up yourself. Thanks for being here on Republic of Avalon Radio.
Thank you for having me.
And watch out for the cars.
Yeah, they stop. And then you sit there wondering, what are they doing?
Thanks a million, Kylie. It's been great having you here.
Thank you, Jim.
Take care.
Bye.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by, brought to you on, brought to you by RADIO.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
Radio for lazy people who don't want to do nothing.
You're with the Roar!
The Podictionary word for today is sound. I thought sound might be an interesting word for podcast listeners. The word sound merits 13 main entries in the Oxford English Dictionary and 15,000 words of text or so. That's a third of a short novel. Most of the meanings you'll know. For example, an arm of the sea, as in an Nantucket sound, strong and healthy, as in a sound mind, or sounding the depths, to see how deep a lake or a well might be. And of course, sound as we get it through podcasts and MP3s and our ears. The one that I didn't expect made one of its earliest appearances 1,000 years ago, in Beowulf again, and it means the action or power of swimming. The sound that we hear came into English as a word in 1297, at a time when English had plenty of French in it, and it wasn't until just before Shakespeare's time that English speakers started to add the final D sound to sound. Before that it was pronounced as the French, son. Sonner is French to call. Before French, the roots of this word go back to the Latin, sonum or sonus, which is also at the heart of sonar, and is even in bassoon, which means deep sound. The phrase sound as a bell means something is in good shape, so here, sound means strong and robust. Sound as a bell appears as far back as 1565, and presumably because it takes a pun on the fact that bells produce sound, it has outlasted similar phrases like sound as a roach. Here, a roach is a fish, not a bug, as proven by a similarly obsolete phrase, sound as a trout. In the mid-1600s, if someone said you were sound as a trout, it meant that you were a good, solid friend. That's today's Podictionary word for Republic of Avalon Radio. This is Charles Hodson.
Burn 1. When the salt water burns, cities tumbling pillars in sheets of flame on the water. It's sure to be a south wind, and massing thick with fish. Burn 2. A thin line a good salter walks, salt his man or his master. Not enough salt makes the fish greasy, slippery, too slimy to dry. Too much salt burns up the fish, too brittle when it comes to dry. Burn 3. Nothing in him but bungarai. He walked 10 miles in the blizzard. The frost burnt his toes. Thawed by the fire, they mortified so far that off came the nails and bared the ends of his bones. And all he could talk of was the kentles of cod.
cats and chicks out there. This is Jivin' Jim Fidler coming at you with a little something called the Merman. Check it out. She goes down to the river with the sunshine all in her hair. When she goes down to the river, does she know I am waiting there? Does she know I am waiting there? If she knew, would she care?
Well, all you Republic of Avalon radio listeners, this is our little excursion. I've got keys. I've always got keys. Out into the wild blue yonder. It's a beautiful day here. It's probably, I don't know, 75 degrees, something like that, Fahrenheit. 23, 24 degrees Celsius. And we are walking down the street. We're going to take a little stroll down to the river.
To the river.
So when was the last time we did that?
I say about last year, maybe August, September?
No, it wasn't that late. I think it was around this time.
Was it?
The Rivercast, yeah.
Oh.
So, we're going to take a little shot through the field and come out on the...
Soccer there.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we can just kind of walk down and sort of not be in the middle of things.
We probably could.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Capture a little bit of the football for the listeners.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there's something rather marvelous going on here. I covered this machine for a couple of other podcasts, for the MIDI Mag podcast and for the Blind Cool Tech podcast. I just sort of, gave a general outline of the machine and its usability and its simplicity and all that sort of stuff. And, it's summertime. Woohoo!
Be careful.
And one thing that I mentioned was that by taking a wide elastic band and wrapping it around the machine top to bottom, you can put your fingers between the back of the unit. The Edirol R-09 is what I'm talking about. That's what we're recording on here now. You can put your 3 fingers between the rubber band and the back of the machine, and your hand then acts as a shock mount. So you have zero handling noise. As you can hear, I'm not fumbling around with the unit. But today, we created something. I had some foam in the studio. It was, like speaker grade foam. Very thin. And I tested it by putting it up in the air, having my hand on one side of it and blowing into the other. And I noticed that it actually didn't let the air pass through. So we kind of sized up the Edirol, the top of the machine, had a good look, and we cut just the right size piece of foam out and shaped it, and Lillian sewed the outer edges on either side, stitched it with some thread and a needle, and then we turned it inside out and just pulled it right on over top of the Edirol, where it doesn't block the display, it doesn't block any of the buttons, and in fact there's quite a wind blowing here right now, and I'm not hearing it in my headphones the way I otherwise would be. So it is doing a marvelous job. Very impressive. Just thin, sort of grainy, speaker grade foam. So it fits on there nicely, as I said. It doesn't block the screen, the display. It doesn't block any of the buttons. What it does block is on the top, the line in and the mic in, which I thought to myself, well, I suppose we could cut a little punch, like get a hole punch, and punch little round holes there. Then it occurred to me, why would you do that? Because if you're using an external line, the external line in or the mic in, you're obviously not using the internal mics, the built-in mics, and henceforth you wouldn't need the windscreen. So we didn't even have to make any cuts on it, and as you can see, it's doing quite a marvelous job against my pee-pa-poo and against the quite stiff breeze that's blowing right now. Now, of course, I'm being mindful of how I'm using it and doing my best to kind of keep the machine out of the wind. But I got to tell you, it's doing a wicked job.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Yay!
Yep, it works.
It's a good invention.
It was a dandy invention. Now, if we can get more, anybody listening who might want such a thing for some sort of nominal fee, I suppose we could make one for you. Or you could just go and get the foam yourself. What you want is a very thin... How thin would you say that foam is? Like...
About...
1/8 of an inch?
Yeah.
Okay, about 1/8 of an inch sort of foam. The kind of foam that It's kind of rough. So
It's
there's
thicker when it's puffed up, actually, but when it's on there, it looks about 1/8 of an inch.
yeah.
About 1/4 of an inch, I think.
Okay. Anyway, very thin, and all we did was wrap it over the top from just on the top of the screen, the display, and then around the back, about the same equivalent, and then we cut it from side to side, cut the length, and then stitched it and turned it inside out and just shoved it right on over top of the machine. So instant windscreen for the Edirol R-09. Voila. So
You've got the elastic band on there.
and the elastic band is doing its job as well, so we're not getting any of that rattly noise. What the heck? So this is about as luxe deluxe as it gets here, folks, with a little needle, thread, a little bit of foam, and a rubber band. We're cooking with gas, aren't we?
Yippee. Yes, indeed.
Cooking with gear acquisition syndrome. But instead of going out and buying the gear, we just made it.
Yeah. Is that store open there, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think it is.
What say we have a look?
I think it's closed.
Now, why would it be closed?
I don't know.
What is it you were wanting?
Well, I'm wondering if you need cigarettes.
Sure.
Do you want to wait right here?
I want to wait right here.
Hold on. Just don't go anywhere, okay?
I won't go anywhere.
Somebody comes up and says, come with me.
I won't. Yes, I won't. If somebody says comes up to me and says, come with me, I'll stay right here. So, anyway, this is brilliant. I was quite excited about that. Hope for you people who aren't interested in such things, you don't find this too boring. But I'm very excited because I think also this might be doing a little bit of the job. There's a little tiny high-end thing at I think about 8K. I haven't, had a chance to really give it a close listen, but I tweaked it out a little bit, experimenting, just processing files that I'd recorded on the machine here, and it seems that if I tweak out a few dB at about 8K, the whole thing sounds a lot more. Okay, the whole thing sounds a lot more pleasing to my ear. So I suspect that this stuff, this windscreen, this bit of foam, is also acting as a little tiny bit of a high roll-off, which is exactly what I wanted for this machine. I found around 8K, things are hissy and essy, a little bit sharp. So if this thing does what I think it's doing, I certainly know it's blocking the wind because I can hear that, and it's brilliant. I'm using the automatic gain control right now as well. I had a good level set, but you just don't know what you're going to run into, like motorcycles and things like that, screaming iguanas walking down the street and everything. So I engaged the automatic gain control, and of course the windscreen is minimizing the wind, the rubber band is completely nullifying any handling noise, and the automatic gain control is taking care of all those little unexpected things that might cause distortion or cause you to blow your speakers, which we wouldn't want to happen. We think that people who listen to the ROAR are a very, very discerning crowd, a very, very smart bunch of people, just by way of listening, and deserve to protect their hard-earned investments, all this expensive listening equipment, like those cheap little computer speakers you're listening to right now, or those cheap little earbuds that you're listening to. Yes. So there's quite a bit of traffic down around here today. I guess where it's such a beautiful day, everybody's out and about, having an afternoon drive, and all that sort of jazz. So we're going to take a stroll down to the river, down to the Waterford River, and breathe in some of that river air and get a few negative ions. Soon as Lillian gets out of the shop. And in the meantime, I'm just standing here looking like, I don't know, your man on the corner talking to himself, holding up a what the heck does this look like now with the windscreen on it? It looks less like a razor. What's it look like? Probably
it could be anybody's guess.
Really?
No, yeah. I mean, if obviously it looks like you're either listening to music or you're talking, and it looks like we're talking, so
yeah.
I would say somebody would think it was some sort of a microphone, but it would be pretty funky looking. Yeah.
Just describe what this looks like, the unit with the windscreen on top.
It looks like it has a little hat.
Okay. But you know what I'm saying? Does it look like some old piece of, like, does it look more or less like something that you might buy?
It does, definitely, yeah.
It doesn't look like just somebody throwing something on top of...
No, not at all. Now, the elastic band, if you didn't have the elastic band, it would look even more like that, but...
Yes.
And I think if we dyed it black, it would really, really be, you know...
Yeah.
People would definitely think it belonged with the machine.
Okay, the windscreen is grey. I think we might just get some black dye. And if anybody wanted us to make one for them, like I say, for some sort of...
smart car.
Some sort of There's a smart car?
Yeah.
Really? Is that going by, or?
It's a black smart car.
Did you
It's
wave?
right there. It's beautiful.
Really? Is it just sitting there, or is it moving?
It's at the stoplight.
Oh, wave at him.
You can't see us right now. But it is so cute.
Uh-huh.
It's a really cool car.
Just wave at him.
They don't see me.
I'd say he does.
Just turning at the lights.
Okay.
I like that car.
Me too. The smart car is a very smart car.
Looks like it's really fun to drive.
Uh-huh. So what was I saying? Yes, I think we're going to get some dye and dye this foam black. But in the meantime, like I said, if anybody thinks they might want us to make one for them, for whatever, I mean, we're going to have to get the supplies, and I think I would get some black foam. And we might even be able to stencil the ROAR logo onto it or something.
Actually, if we had a stamp, it would be perfect because it would, just dip the stamp in some red ink.
Yes.
And just stamp it on to the foam.
Or silver ink.
Silver would be good too.
Yeah. Gold.
Gold, kind of like sparkly gold.
Yeah. Anyway, aside from all that foolishness, if anybody wants us to make one, probably $10 or something, and we'll make one for you, and you'll be able to do exactly what I'm doing here now, walk around outside when it's fairly windy, and not have all that wind noise.
So shall we try the new path or the old path?
What is the new path, please?
The new path is the one I was telling you about we could take the tandem on. Except there's probably not really many places to sit. If we go down the old path, we can sit where we sat before, remember?
If we go to the new path, will we avoid all those barking savage dogs racing out to the fence to eat us?
Yes.
Let's take the new path.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Actually, there's never many people on the new path.
Oh, good.
So let's take a run across the road.
We're going to take a run across the road. Here we go. Run. Here we are. I should have held the unit down so they could have heard us running better.
You'll really be able to hear the river down here too, I think.
Yeah, especially with the R9 that I keep talking incessantly about.
Are you liking your R9?
I think the folks are liking the R9 because you listening to this here now. The reason why we sound as good as we do and everything sounds as clear as it does and everything is because of this machine.
Exactly. I can't wait to hear how it sounds with the windscreen on.
Oh, you'll be impressed.
I'm sure it cuts out on a lot of that kind of
the wind noise. Yeah. It's really doing a killer job. Now I don't remember where I got this bit of foam or what it was for, but it's definitely like speaker grade foam. It's not just some sort of packing foam. I don't know where I came up with it. But
I think you used to have that underneath your speaker, didn't you? Or did you?
No.
No?
No.
It had little bumps in it, didn't it?
No, this is different foam. That's you're thinking about some other foam. That other foam was like a packing foam, like an impact foam to absorb impact. This foam, look, if I just rub it, folks, just listen to this. You can hear that it's kind of got little grains in it.
Oh, okay.
It's not just a smooth foam. So there's actually separation. It's not just a solid. It's not like putting a blanket on top of the unit. It has pores. So it blocks out most of the wind, but obviously it allows the sound to still get through. But as I said before, I would guess that it's cutting some of the highs, probably, from 4K and up, which is what I want. Oh, listen to this, folks. Well, let's let the folks hear the birdies. And that's what the machine held right up over my head. And there was a good gust of wind, and I could just barely hear it. And it certainly didn't seem to have as much of the low end in it. So this is it's somewhat of a little bit of a technical sort of segment here for the people, I wouldn't say non-technically minded, for the non-technically interested, for the technically apathetic. You might. I don't even know what else we're going to talk about. But you're just
bringing tech-minded people out into the woods where they probably wouldn't normally go. We have to keep them interested.
What are we going to do with them when we get them out in the woods? Did you bring your axe? Lily, the axe murderer. The axe myrtleizer.
We should take a little jaunt down by the river.
We could. Remember that one? Myrtleize?
Myrtleize? No.
Yeah, like if you go out and you do something and you get in trouble, when you get home your mother's going to myrtleize you?
Never heard of it.
No?
No.
Okay.
Murder?
No, myrtleize. He's going to myrtleize you. That's one when we were growing up. If anybody knows that term, send us email and confirm that I'm not completely out of touch with reality. Completely, that is. Somewhat.
Yeah.
I like to keep that.
Keep them guessing.
Yes. So we're walking along where now exactly? Describe for the folks.
It's a small path that leads down the side of a road. On one side of us there's a road which we can't really see. And there's houses on that road. And on our left here is the Waterford River, which flows out into St. John's Harbour. So if we just kept walking, we would go right into the harbour.
Oh, that wouldn't be too good.
And
is it
it's a nice
warm?
It's very warm.
Whew.
This river has duck. I saw a pile of ducks here the other day.
Folks, I have to re-estimate the temperature. It's definitely more along the lines of, I'd say, 78 Fahrenheit, 78. Yeah, but I'd say about 78. What did I say before? About 70, 75? I was thinking 74, 75. Yeah, it's a little more. It's probably about 25, so 24, 25.
And you were just saying this morning that you said, when is it going to warm up before we got up, remember?
Yeah, because I had the feeling that it was.
Did you?
Yeah. That was my funny way of saying that it. Oh, more birdies. Hang on. Speak, birdies. Speak, I say.
You're very close.
It's a distant one.
Oh, I can see him. They're right there. He had grass in his mouth.
Really?
Yeah, he must be building a nest.
Could be. Or he could be chowing down.
Could be. Wow. He saw us and he just took off.
It's a wise decision. I wouldn't mess with us either. Remember that, folks.
There's alder bushes on either side of us. Like
All whose bushes?
Here.
All whose bushes? Yes, I can hear them. So what's new in the land of Avalon?
Land of Avalon. Let's see.
We're gearing up for the World Cup, of course.
Yes, and we've been keeping track of the hockey playoffs, finals.
Uh-huh.
And as of last night, it's 2-1 for Carolina. And we are happy about that.
Well, we're happy about the 2-1, but we're happy about the 2, but not so much about the 1.
Yeah.
And, of course, we're rooting for Brasilia for the World Cup. We're rooting for Brazil. And, of course, we wish the Soca Warriors well.
Yes, definitely. I'm rooting for them for the time being anyway.
Yeah. I don't want to go down here.
Okay.
What is this?
It's just a clearing, but you can't really hear the river so much.
No, and besides, it's like I got these sandals on and it's kind of walking in this grass isn't very nice. A bit of long grass. They're not very good at keeping the grass cut around here, are they?
No.
Those birds. Your man back there with the grass, you know. Faster, faster!
Yeah.
Look alive. Yeah. So
there's a bench up here. We can have a little sit down.
We could have a little sit down on the bench, yes. See, here's Lillian walking. And here's me walking. She makes more little steps than I do.
I got shorter legs than you do.
Yes. Caw to you too.
There's a crow.
We don't have crows. They're ravens. We don't have no crow.
No crow.
No crow whatsoever.
Okay, here's our bench.
Okay. We have reached the bench.
Do you want some water?
Do I want some water? Sure, why not? Little bit of water. Throw some water in. Throw some water in your radiator. Service your engine and it will go. Yes, indeed, folks and folkettes. We are now sitting on a bench handy to the Waterford River. How handy is we?
Stone's throw.
Alrighty. Well, prove it. Find a stone and throw it. I want to hear it.
I think I hit the bank. I'm not much of a thrower.
Hit the bank? That sounds somewhat unlawful,
You
potentially.
You could hit it.
What the heck was that? Find me a rock, please. And it's that way?
No, a bit more to your right.
Okay, here we go, folks.
Oh yeah, you hit it.
I heard it whoop.
Yeah.
And I didn't throw it that hard. So how much into the river do you think I got it?
I'd say it's almost in the middle.
Really? See, I knew I should have. My dad could have been a pro baseball pitcher, actually. And I remember when I used to play as a young fella, I used to play something called alley ball. I remember having the ability to pitch. So maybe it's genetic.
You got a good arm.
Yeah. For a fella, what? I just threw kind of like, I guess it would be a slow fastball.
Mm-hmm. Slow fastball?
Yes.
Okay.
I know it sounds kind of
Not a fast slow ball.
oxymoronic or whatever. Yes.
Whew. That's a little bird.
Really? What's he doing?
He's checking us out.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
How far away is he?
He's gone now. He was just over there on the rock. He came right up to us. He's still over there, though, on the other side now.
Okay.
If we had some food, he'd probably...
Aren't you supposed to be really terrified of birds these days? You know, you might get the bird flu or...
That's true.
some kind of crazy thing. There you go.
I wouldn't worry about that too much here.
So it's a motorcycle. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Do you hear him?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the little bird.
Yeah.
He's a little pipper, isn't he?
Yeah.
What kind of a bird is he?
I don't know. He's very small.
Yeah?
Yeah. About the size of my hand. Probably smaller than my hand.
And he's just like on the ground?
He's in the trees now.
Okay.
He's in the trees.
He's coming. Yes, and to anybody who knows what that reference was to or what that means, just send an email to Republic of Avalon Radio @gmail.com and we will give you a copy of my new just turned 1 year old Midnight Rover compact disc.
There you go. Cool.
I wonder if anybody will get it.
I wonder. I'm sure somebody will.
Wonder who.
We have a few new people in Frapper.
We do.
DJ
somebody.
I'm thinking Excalibur, but it's not.
Okay.
Excavator. DJ Excavator.
Okay. Big up DJ Excavator.
Yeah, I like his little icon.
Okay.
And we also have Leo from somewhere in Ontario.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly where offhand.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have somebody that we met in Second Life from Scotland, from Falkirk, I think.
Okay, yes, that's right. And isn't that funny? Because just by what he was saying, typing, I turned to you and said, he's in Scotland.
Yeah. Yeah, you caught the, just the,
his,
the words.
His typing accent.
Yeah.
It was all those R's in a row.
So thanks for dropping in, you guys.
Yeah. And for you who don't know what we're talking about, the on the website at republicofavalonradio.com, there's a button there you see. It's the Frapper map. And please do go. And all you do is you go there, and it's like a map of the world, and you stick your pin. You stick a pin in at your location. And we'd like to make as many points on that map as possible, because the more the roar sort of propagates outward and upward, the better it is for us. It just makes us feel like kind of gets our cockles all warmed up and everything.
It's really exciting, isn't it, when we get an email saying there's a new pin in the map?
Yes, we're very easily thrilled, folks. It's amazing how easy we are to please.
For sure.
I'm tickled to death with this windscreen that we made for the machine here.
That's a brilliant piece of engineering.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just sized it up and saw what would do the job, and designed it on the spot. Mm-hmm. Had the blueprint and described to you exactly sort of how to hold it and where to cut and where to sew and where not to sew and all that stuff. And when it was done, I just turned it inside out and slid it on top of the machine.
Yeah.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's perfect. That little bird really is checking us out. He's coming. He's down on the path now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, little bird.
Lots of birds around.
It's very birdish.
It is.
A very birdish place. This place, if you ask me, this place is for the birds.
Gypsy would love it down here.
Oh God, it'd be a feast, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Gypsy, he would turn himself inside out. He wouldn't know which way to be lunging.
It's a good thing he didn't follow us down here today.
He'd be walking along, dragging his belly along the ground like he does, you know? Like he's, you know, some sort of, bottom dweller. In lobster mode. Lobster puss.
Yeah. Lobsters are strange creatures.
They're very bizarre. They're kind of like big, hard spiders of the deep.
Yeah. Like...
Or some kind of alien creatures.
Yeah. Scorpions of the deep.
Yeah. Ooh. We have a human. Hello.
Beautiful day.
Oh, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yep. Yeah.
We can see the church from here.
Which church, please?
It's the St. Patrick's Church.
Is it the Church of St. Patrick?
It's just beautiful, yeah.
Is it just beautiful? Isn't there anything else?
They actually replaced the steeple on that church a few years ago, which was quite a job.
It's been re-steepled?
Yeah.
Where did they get it? At Steeples?
I don't know how they did it. They must have made it somewhere and then...
No, they got it at Steeples.
Okay.
I knew she didn't hear that, folks. I wasn't just repeating that for your benefit.
That is a really old church.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a drink of water here now.
Maybe I'll take a picture of it.
There we go. It's bottled water. I don't think bottled water is the best water in the world by any stretch of the imagination. Lillian's going to take a picture of the church for you folks. That was the camera powering on.
Okay.
And I will record her taking the picture.
Okay. I'm going to zoom in on it. Oh, look. Oh, that's cool, actually, because I just got the trees. Underneath the trees, there's all houses, but just on top of the trees, all you can see is the church. Like the big steeple. It's really tall.
Okay.
That's really neat, actually.
I would take a few. One picture is never enough. Take at least 10. Keep going.
There we go. I think that should do it.
Okay. So we'll put that up. That's another thing on the website. We have the Flickr. We have the Flickr site. So at Republic of at Republic Rented Lips at republicofavalonradio.com, and just click on the Flickr link. There's a little doohickey, icon-y, graphic-y thing there. Is there?
Yes.
Okay, she wasn't sure. So you click on that. We've got a bunch of photos up there of some of our adventures.
I might as well take a picture of the path, too.
A picture of the path. Okay. Just path.
The path we were walking on.
Okay. As proof that we were here.
Yes.
Footsteps in the sand. Oh, here comes an army tank.
Oh, it's a big transport truck.
We're being invaded.
Trucks.
Yes, what's with them trucks anyway?
I just think they give it a break on Sunday.
Shouldn't be loud.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be loud. Trucks on Sunday.
Everybody should just park their cars on Sunday.
That's right.
And trucks.
Even though actually Saturday is Shabbat.
Shubap shaboop.
Shabbat. Yes.
Shabbat.
Or, I guess the anglicized version of that is Sabbath.
Mm.
So Saturday is actually the day, not the Sunday. Folks, you got it all wrong. So we can be heathenistic on Sundays. Sunday is actually the first day of the week. Yeah. Jaja kind of had sandwiches and all that stuff. It was a Saturday. It wasn't a Sunday. He started on a Sunday.
Right, yeah. He rested on Saturday.
Yeah, he was finished on the Saturday. That was his. He checked it all out and said it was good.
And he had a picnic.
I think so. Kind of a cosmic picnic. Nick, cosmic.
Don't forget your sandwiches.
Cosmic picnic. Everybody, Nick. Don't forget your sandwiches. Yes. Don't forget your shovel if you want to go to work. I'll stop hogging the water now. Stop being a water hog. Well, okay, folks. I think that's probably about it for now. We will bid you adieu and go well and come back again.
Live long and prosper.
Live long and perspire. And peace out.
May the force be with you.
As opposed to again you. A Root Cellar production.